Welcome. My secret journey from the streets to the boardroom details the life of Larry Miller, chairman of the Jordan Brand Advisory Board and one of the most successful black men in business in this country.
But before his rise to success, Larry Miller made a violent mistake that has haunted him for decades, and he is joining us now with more. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Such
a great story, and not a rags to riches story, but really you made some bad decisions, but were able to turn around. And what do you credit that pivot to?
I think I credit that pivot to really starting to believe that I could change my life. I think at the end of the day, you have to really believe that you can change and then start to make the efforts to do it. But if you don't really believe that you can do something different with your life or you can change your life, I think it's hard to actually make that change.
The story's been out there for a while, but for our viewers who are not familiar with it, you as a teenager committed a murder.
Yes.
Tell us, fill in the rest of it.
When I was from the age of 12, 13 up until 30, I was in and out of jail. I was in a gang when I was younger. I shot a young man and he died. I ended up being charged as an adult. Was sentenced to 4.5 to 20 years. Did the 4.5, got out, got back involved in more criminal stuff, and ended up going back to jail and doing for a number of armed robberies. That second time, though, when I was back there, I got involved in an education program that allowed me to actually live in trailers outside the jail and leave every day and go to school and come back. And I got my associate's degree through that program, transferred to Temple University, got my bachelor's degree from Temple, and then continued on, got my my master's degree, my MBA from LaSalle University. But it was getting the opportunity to get my education that really changed things for me.
And you actually were here in town doing some other charitable work. You really seem to strive to help other young people get themselves out of their way.
Well, you know, when I think about and look at, you know, the things that I've done in my past, to me, I feel like an obligation to try to give back as much as I possibly can and to maybe try to help some other young people who are headed down the path that I was on to maybe stop and think about it a little bit and think about how they could change their life, because that one mistake can really mess you up for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are interested in exactly how you did it. So you had the credentials, you had the degree, you had the master's degree, but how did you get people to believe in you, to give you that opportunity to do what you needed to do? Because a lot of people say that they are hamstrung, they just can't get that one shot.
You know, the reality is when I was about to graduate from Temple with my bachelor's degree, I was interviewing with an accounting firm and went through the whole day of interviewing. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, should I share my background with these folks? And finally, at the end, the hiring manager, I kind of shared with him. And he looked at me and he said, you know, he pulled an envelope out of his pocket and he said, I had a offer letter here already to give you, but I can't give it to you now.
Oh, no.
And he said, I can't take that chance. So from that point on, I never shared my background. I didn't hide it or deny it. I just didn't share it.
Didn't openly offer it.
And when my first job at Campbell Soup Company, the application said, have you been convicted of a crime in the last 5 years? Well, the answer was no. It had been longer than. So I was able to truthfully answer that. But I never denied. I just didn't share it because I believed that if people found out about my past, that it would hurt what I was trying to accomplish.
I'm assuming back then they just weren't doing the background checks that they are doing today, because a lot of people are finding it to be a massive roadblock for them.
Yeah, you know, things were not digitized the way they are today, and it was a lot tougher to find information. But you know, like I said, I was fortunate enough that this never came out, and my oldest daughter, who happens to be here with me, is the one who convinced me to tell this story, and it was her idea that it could motivate and inspire some people and let people know that folks given another chance could become contributors to society as opposed to people who are taking from society.
We are running out of time, but what is your message to the young people out there that are kind of stuck in this cycle of in and out of jail?
My message to them is to, you know, try to figure out a way to get an education or something that's going to allow you to to move and change your life. But like I said, it starts with you actually believing that you can change your life. And I think a lot of it has to do with what happens when a person is incarcerated. The goal should be, when someone is incarcerated, the goal should be that they come out a better person than they were when they went in.
Yes.
And that's going to require us to do some things different with the criminal justice system.
And that's what
Absolutely.
you're working on. Larry, thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
coming
much. Thank you for
in,
having me.
talking, sharing
We
your
appreciate
story.
it,
Hopefully
yeah.
it inspires someone out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.